Unfortunately, whether it's malicious or not, it creates trauma because it creates all these negative emotions around just the topic of money.
Do you still love me or not?
Hi, welcome to Frankly K, or Frankly Loverly. Anyway, this is a financial literacy video because what? Awareness and clarity means power. Pop quiz. Surprise. Today's pop quiz question is essay. Is Bitcoin a commodity or a currency? Why or why not? Now, I hesitate giving my own answer because, but I'll just give it here. Now, pause here so you can come up with your answer before you do any research, if you have to do any research. I do believe that Bitcoin is a currency. And, so instead of saying Bitcoin, I could say cryptocurrency, but I do pick Bitcoin on purpose. I pick Bitcoin because it's the largest, most recognizable cryptocurrency that we have besides maybe Ethereum or Dogecoin. The other coin that just collapsed because the guy went to jail for fraud. Who was that? Was that Ethereum? So I would like to say that Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency, it is a commodity and it is a currency. And the reason why it's a commodity is because I personally think that a lot of commodities, because of the nature of what a commodity is, I'll put that here, they are often like a legacy item of currency. So they're often used as a mode of currency in some fashion, or at some point in history, they were used as like the mode of currency. It basically has the potential to be the way people exchange units of monetary worth, or units of value, I should say. But I do believe that essentially it is also like the raw goods. And I know there's raw goods behind Bitcoin because they have to mine it using data. So the data would technically be the commodity, but in the essence of it being a cryptocurrency, it's kind of hard to extrapolate one from the other. Like the data is the coin is the data in my rough understanding of cryptocurrency. So I'm not a tech bro. And there's a reason why they're fighting about having it being cryptocurrency being monitored by the CFTC. And it's because it's like the Commodity Future Trading Commission or something like that. And they're supposed to only regulate commodities and commodity exchanges and stuff. But like I said, I feel like it is a commodity cryptocurrency. And in that case, Bitcoin is a commodity. But I also do believe that it is inherently a currency. That's what it was made to be. I'll give you the best example: oil, gold. Those are two big commodities everyone knows. We all know how they get used. We all know that if you have access to any units of these or the method of production or mining of those, you're pretty much banking real bucks. However, you don't just show up at a store with a bucket of oil. You don't show up at the store unless you're in Dubai, apparently, with a bucket of gold, right? Like, apparently they have gold vending machines. Is that still a thing in the United Emirates? These are things where you still have to exchange it for the actual currency of the day, the actual credits in the bank account kind of thing. And I feel like Bitcoin is doing that. You have the Bitcoin, but some places do take Bitcoin now, but it's not widely enough where you can like pay your gas bill with the Bitcoin yet. They also used to have a gold vending machine in the United Emirates. So it's not unlikely for a currency to basically be a commodity, and it's not, it's Bitcoin is acting like all the other commodities that we have listed under a commodity, just on the surface level. That's not the whole video. That was just your pop quiz. to keep you up on current events and also give you something to think about, okay? Just because. So anyway, I'll actually put the place down below that I'm sure I'm going to go find something. I don't have the website yet because I haven't done the research. But after I edit this video, I'll probably research it further and then give any addendum thoughts if I have any in the description box. But I will also link whatever I find as a resource for topic reading underneath as usual. So please utilize the description box. Today's actual topic is financial trauma nobody talks about. Last week we did financial abuse that is seen as financial norms. And this week we're going to do financial traumas that people don't talk about enough, okay? And they're actually self-explanatory for the most part, so I'm not going to spend too much time. There's only 6 that I have here because I actually crossed one out, so there's 5. The one I crossed out is something that I think people talk about, so I decided I would just cut it. The first one I have on the list is growing up with an adult guardian that always wanted more money and expressed it constantly. Now, I'm laughing, but it's not funny. When I said I wasn't going to go too much into detail, but I will give a quick spiel about what I mean in case there is any need for clarification. It's more about how it starts to affect your view of money. So if you grew up with an adult guardian that was constantly not so much like, do you have McDonald's money kind of guardian, but more so they would get you the McDonald's, and even if you were excited to get that Happy Meal and the little plastic toy inside, they would say something like, one day you won't be eating that. We're going to eat something much better than that, da, 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 but not really giving credit to the fact that you want the McDonald's. Maybe you want a certain beanbag for your room. These are the things that you want. They are only thinking about how they view money, how things should be more expensive, how they wish they had more money to buy more expensive things or go on luxurious trips or eat, fancy food, stuff like that. Basically putting their idea of what a lifestyle should be, kind of impressing it on you without giving you the lifestyle. To me, it's not bad that they don't give you the lifestyle. It's the fact that even in the happy moments or moments that could be happy, they manage to dampen them simply by constantly expressing that this isn't the situation that they want. And they want you to know that this isn't good. Like the example I was going to give, you might want a certain beanbag for your room. And you go out and you buy that beanbag. And it's like $25, right? Which is very expensive, but not that expensive for a beanbag, okay, anymore. But that's the one you want. You love it. You're like, this is the perfect color. It has the perfect amount of beans, everything. They see it. This adult guardian would see something like that and automatically be like, I could get you something better than that. You just wait. Like, when I get some more, I'm going to get some more money on this check and I'm going to get you a better beanbag. But you're like, but I like this one. And they're like, no, you don't. You like that one because you don't know any better. I'm going to get you a more expensive beanbag. I just seen a Ferragamo beanbag and it's got 40 count beans. The beans are, I don't know, directly from heaven. Or you might be at a dinner and you're eating. Like they made spaghetti that night and you're like, ooh, I love spaghetti. And you're eating the spaghetti, you're kicking your feet. You're like, And then they would be sitting there moping. And you're like, hey, adult guardian, is something wrong? Are you okay? They say something like, I'm sorry that we have to eat spaghetti like this all the time, or I can only cook. I want to take you out, but there just never seems to be enough money. And they're sad about it. I think that these things create trauma. Unfortunately, whether it's malicious or not, it creates trauma because it creates all these negative emotions around just the topic of money. In your everyday life, even moments that could have been happy, could have been peaceful, could have been content moments, could have been moments that showed you that materialism isn't going to buy you any happiness because the happiness was right there in front of you when there was no money. But the adult guardian in your life made sure to emphasize the point that you had no money over the fact that you were happy. That, I think, it doesn't get talked about enough, but it is detrimental. And I just want more adults, if you are now the adult, to be more aware of this kind of impression that you're leaving on impressionable children. They see how you act more than they hear what you say. All right. So then the next one, having a guardian that did not take financial obligations serious enough. So you have the other opposite end of the spectrum where money is a laissez-faire event. Like, it's just like, oh, we don't care. Now, this might not be a trauma for everyone, though. I will say that. I will say that this might not be a trauma for everyone until it gets to the point that I'm speaking of. Someone can be laissez-faire or, lackadaisical about, or easygoing, okay, about money. They can be easygoing about money, but still pay their stuff on time or pay it before there's a negative effects. They meet all their financial obligations. Things are taken care of. People are taken care of. And the adult guardian is dependable and trustworthy in that manner, but maybe they're just like, oh, well, so what? I don't have enough money for this thing. We can have this thing instead, and it's fantastic. There's still, that's not what I mean by that. When I say they don't take their financial obligations seriously enough, I mean that. I mean, this is the type of adult where something's not paid and they're just like, it'll get paid eventually. Like, eviction notices on the door and they're just like, hey, I guess we gotta move again. I'll just move us into a hotel or something. I don't know. Like, they don't care enough about stability. That creates financial trauma. That might be something you're battling with. Like, just remembering how maybe lackadaisical the adults in your life were, and it has grown up to make you very, very strict about money because you have started to feel like you're the only person you can depend on. There was an instability and unease because you were watching repercussions happen to you and this adult guardian who didn't seem to care or see how serious things are getting ever. Like, there was never any mode of where you felt like you could depend on them to take care of the situation, so you didn't have to think about it at all. So that can create some financial traumas. The next one, getting in dating relationships where you put yourself in a savior type role, financial role. That one's self-explanatory, right? You get into a dating relationship and you immediately take on the role of paying your way through the relationship. Every time this person has a problem, you throw money at it, and not in a dismissive way, but in a way where you're like, here, let me help you. It's okay to want to help because you have the money. Like, no one should be telling you what to do with your money. If you want to spend it on somebody else, then that is exactly what you're going to do. And that's what you should do. That's none of my business. What I am saying is don't fall into a trap of digging yourself into a hole to save someone else. My mother told me this a long time ago. She was just like, if you dig yourself in a hole to save someone else, you can bet they will bury you in it. The next one is not being able to express your financial discomforts because the other party claims you are just too sensitive. That also is a point blank kind of financial trauma. This goes back to, this also ties in, it can interwoven into the last video where I'm talking about financial abuse, where you just can't seem to talk to your partner about your discomfort. And well, I said other parties, so honestly it's more than your partner. It could be your family. If you're the child, you can't talk to the parent, or you can't talk to the adult guardian if you're a minor about your financial concerns or anything like that, just because they dismiss a lot of your concerns. Again, that's a little abusive. It errs on the side of abuse because it leads into the fact where, one, trying to dissuade you from taking control or having any kind of knowledge about your finances. And then the other part of that is making it so that they're withholding information that they do have. They say it's something like, I would like to see where my money goes when you, like, if you feel uncomfortable when you're little and people are giving you money at your birthday party or your baptism or whatever it is, your, whatever party, you get money and your parent collects that money and you're like, I'm never going to see that money again. If you were like me, turns out your parents were stashing it away in a bank account. But my parents had shown me that I could trust them when it came to topics about money. Because sometimes it's your parent. You could be like 18, you could be 20, 21, and you start actually making money because you're working a job and you are trying to trust your parent to help you. When I was working at a certain bank, there was a young girl, she was 15 or 16 or something like that. And she wanted a business account, but she wanted it in her own name by herself. But we couldn't do it because she was a minor and you need to have an adult guardian on the account. And I felt really bad. She had to go to another bank who let people do it at a lower age. But I felt really bad for her. But not necessarily that this was her, but it just reminded me that there are some young kids out there that need that autonomy, need that tiny self-reassurance that they have this control over the money, and you should be able to talk to your guardian about money, even if it's your money or just the concept of money or how to save, where to go, what kind of bank should you use, what's a normal price for this kind of thing, anything like that. You should be able to just have those discussions with your partner, with your guardian, with your parent. You should be able to talk about those things. And so when someone denies you of that, basically saying you're too sensitive or telling you you're overreacting, if you bring up a concern, this is more so when you're someone who is financially tied to the person, so a partner or a family member, like a parent or a guardian. When they have a little more control over your money and you want to talk about it and they won't validate what you're saying or even give you discussion or try to come up with any solutions, those kinds of things can create a trauma. And so any other parents out there, I would like to say, I'm not trying to say I'm an expert parent. I'm just saying that I've been a child. And in that time, I feel like the trust that my parents built with me was due to the fact that they were very open with discussing money matters, financial things with me. I think I only asked one time. I was like, where's the money that I got for my birthday? And my mother told me straight up, I'm putting it in an account. Because it was like at the end of the party. I was like, I'm trying to go buy toys. You need to be having those open conversations. You don't want to create that kind of financial wound where the person becomes distrustful around money just because their relationship with it has been so. Next topic. I think this one is the saddest of all. So it's learning early that you should attach money to your self-worth. How much you make equals how much respect you deserve. We've all heard somebody cussing somebody out in a store because they're angry that they're getting put out said store. And they're saying something to the security like, you're not even a real cop. And in my head, I was always like, well, security's probably saying, yeah, I know. I'm security. I didn't apply to be a cop. I applied to be security. Or basically when people are screaming at food service, anyone who worked at food service, anyone who worked customer service, really, the way people talk at you and talk down to you because you're in a service position, that comes from the financial traumas caused in their heads, that how much money, your role, your job, how much money you probably make is equal to how much respect they're going to give you, because they would never talk like that to someone who's not in a service position to them. They would never talk at the CEO of the bank that way, even though the CEO probably does more damage to them than the teller inside the bank. They would never talk to the CEO that way because they're the CEO. They will talk to the teller that way because it's a teller. And in their head, that teller doesn't make as much, even though that should not matter. That is what trauma will do. It kind of blows up logic. It just kind of blows up logical thinking. Trauma, it puts you in a different headspace. And I feel like financial trauma, when people attach money to self-worth, they project that all over the place. That's something you need to be wary of. A job is a job. Money is money. Now, a lot of jobs deserve more money, but that's not a topic that I'm talking about right now. So anyway, that was a quick video. I hope I have all your essays by now. If you did not turn it in at the beginning of this video, you have another 5 seconds to start typing. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching this quick video. I hope you learned something. If you have any requests about literally anything, I'm not a big investment person, but I am getting into it for now. If you have any other general questions about financial literacy, I'll do my best to break things down in a video if you guys like. Bye.
Do you still love me or not?
I need some